Today we're talking about 5 foods that you should not be purchasing from your local store, grocery store, Walmart, even sometimes your farmer. What am I talking about? Well, we think these foods are healthy. We think, oh, we're eating them, so therefore it tells us this is what we should be eating. No, sadly, because we live in America, we've allowed for things to be placed and put with and on our food that actually proves that it's not healthy. 5 things that you should not stockpile from your local Walmart or your grocery store. Foods that you should not buy. And if you are going to buy them, you better be looking at the labels. Let's dive into this list today. A lot of times we tell you what to buy and make sure that you're stockpiling certain things. Well, today we're telling you the exact opposite. Do not stockpile this food. Let's dive in. Hey guys, welcome to our channel. Thank you so very much for being here today. We took a kind of a break from the news side and we're going to go back to the prepping side. But actually, we're not going to go into the stockpiling food and stockpiling needs. We're actually talking about the things that we should not be stockpiling. In the midst of us saying do not stockpile, we're going to tell you the exact opposite of what to stockpile when you're talking about these exact same foods. Now, when I jump in the list, it's actually going to make more sense. Now, remember our other channel, Life with Colby Mac. That's the channel of me vlogging, me telling you exactly how I live my life here on this sustainable farm and prepping. Please go check it out, especially if this channel starts again getting hurt like it is. We are going to be on that channel, Life with Colby Mac. Make sure you are subscribed to it. Also, remember my wife's channel, The Mac's Life. She always brings these kind of things up in a perspective of her side of things, so make sure you're checking those 2 channels out. Also, remember that we are doing lives all week. Sometimes those lives are, up and down because of the way the cameras work or because of the internet service or just because YouTube doesn't like us too much. But remember to check those lives out because they have some very good headlines that we jump into, and then question and answering from you. I kind of give you my opinion on things and reaction. Now let's dive into this list. And to be honest with you, these may surprise you. Now, number 1, what we should not buy from Walmart is bread. Now, bread is a staple. I will be honest with you. I'm going to hold my hand up and just tell you the truth. If I have any weakness in life when it comes to being on carnivore and being on a healthy diet, it is bread. I don't care for French fries. I don't care for, any kind of trash food. I don't care for dessert. I don't like chocolate. Those kind of things I can just get rid of. My weakness is bread. I love bread. I love rolls. I love anything like that. In certain cultures, especially in Europe, they eat pasta and bread daily. Daily. However, there's a difference. It's actually not bread and pasta and things like those are not bad carbs. It's not that flour is terrible for you. But when you're buying it from a supermarket, it is. Now, let me tell you why I say that. When my wife and I make bread, we make it with 4 ingredients. Either yeast or sourdough, like a starter. We use flour, of course. We're using an organic, non-enriched, non-bleached flour. And typically we're using red winter wheat or some kind of hard winter wheat or some kind of, meal that we actually milled ourselves. Some kind of flour that we went through our mill and actually grinded it up from the berries. And then we're using salt and usually water. That's really our whole bread recipe. It's not anything spectacular, but it's phenomenal. Especially my wife's sourdough bread, buns, things like that. The problem is when you go and buy it from the store, you actually look at the ingredients. Those ingredients are not those 4 things. It may be 20 or 30 things. Now here's the thing that you don't really realize. Even the quote-unquote organic or non-GMO bread, it may be non-GMO and organic in some facets, but still has things in it that is allowed by our government. See, our problem with FDA and USDA is that they've gotten passes to certain big groups to allow food to be ingested, and they can call it healthy. Well, truth be told, if you start actually doing your own research, you realize this junk is not healthy. The bread here is made with azodicarbonamide. Now, what is that? Now, I said it in syllables so you can understand. If you can't pronounce these words, that probably shouldn't be in your food, huh? Listen to this. The same chemical that's in your bread in America is the same chemical that goes into yoga mats. It is linked to asthma, hormone disruption, and cancer. This same chemical is banned in 30 plus countries, but in our bread, it's allowed. If I take my bread or my wife's bread and we put it on the counter, it literally will go dry or moldy within 3 to 4 days. I mean, the quality's just not there anymore. If I take a loaf of bread from Walmart, I can literally leave it on the counter for weeks, even the things that say organic or non-GMO, and they still will not mold, and they still act like a sponge. You could put water in it, you could smash it down, it pumps back up. You tell me how that could be healthy for you. So please, number one, do not buy bread from Walmart or any grocery. Number two, what you don't buy from a store, a grocery store, or Walmart, not even a farmer, is corn. Now, why do I say that? I mean, I loved organic cream corn when I was a kid. It's amazing how I love this time of year because it's almost like an oxymoronic thing. We see these farmers and we see these people on Facebook Marketplace and we see these people at the markets and selling in front of Walmart and Tractor Supply, and they're saying, we have the best quality corn. And you're getting in the shucks. You think you're buying the best quality, great quality, newest version of corn, golden, beautiful, sweet corn. It sounds good when I'm thinking about it, to be honest with you. And it's hard to grow organic corn. I grow organic corn and it is the hardest thing. It takes a lot of implements. It has a lot of bugs. It's heirloom. It's not as sweet as most places. And when you go by these fields, you see this corn grow and you're like, oh, that's an awesome farm. For instance, the corn Anthem XR. Anthem XR is a genetically modified sweet corn hybrid developed through modern biotechnology techniques. Remember, they want to make sure they're growing the best quality corn, the longest lasting corn, the sweetest corn, the best of everything, even down to not rodents and things getting it. Let's listen, let's keep on going. It involves inserting specific genes of organisms into the corn for desirable traits. It's amazing how we play God with all this. Gene identification, and isolation. Scientists identify genes that provide beneficial traits to help with resistance of pests and herbicides in mind. For Anthem XR, the variant has key genetic modifications, such as Roundup Ready. It has the Roundup gene put in it. Also has Bacillus thuringiensis genes that help with the soil so it doesn't build some kind of bad root rot or problems with fungus. Also rust resistance. It helps build in genes that help with the common rust and fungal problems that corn typically gets. This gene insertion allows for different things to be modified about it to make where it will not have pest problems, herbicide problems, and also fungal problems. The regulatory process has been allowed by FDA, EPA, and other forms of government. This hybrid corn is so modified, but it is so good and so tolerant. Now, I don't know about you, but have you read the studies of how dangerous some of these herbicides and pesticides, and how those same people that make those herbicides and pesticides like glyphosate that's actually in this corn DNA, they tell you it's healthy. FDA gives them approval, but what they don't tell you is they're also in lawsuits. Not this corn, but Roundup. Look at the lawsuits of how it's causing carcinogenic cancers, how it's causing problems for people. They had to settle with millions upon millions upon millions. And you think this is a healthy corn you should be eating? So number two, do not buy corn and eat it from the store or supermarket. Here's the only way you can buy corn. You've got to talk to people like Azure Standard, the grocer, online grocer that we like to use. Or you have to find someone who has heirloom, non-GMO growing corn. That is a hard thing to do. I don't know one person, not one, out of our county, our city, our town, our area that's growing heirloom non-GMO corn other than us. And it's hard because it costs a lot of money, takes a lot of implements, true organic implements. It's hard to grow. Now, is it great that we're able to feed people and grow this stuff? Yeah, but that thing is this. Having yield and having good quality corn that we call good quality because it looks the same actually may not be the best because it's modified. Kind of like the bread. The stuff that they're putting in the bread to preserve it is actually killing us. The stuff that we're eating with this holistic corn from these farmers are actually carcinogenic. So you better actually look for non-GMO, organically grown corn. You're going to pay a lot arm and a leg for it if you really want corn. But to be honest with you, if you're not buying good quality organic non-GMO corn or corn meal, if you're buying it for field corn, you're actually putting carcinogenic agents in your body. Pay attention to that. I don't think we should be drinking Roundup or herbicides or pesticides. I'm sure not. Why are we putting it in our corn? Number 3 is cheese and dairy. Now, let's go through the cheese first. American cheese has food dyes and is emulsified, engineered to melt, colored to glow, marketed as cheese. Colored by petroleum-based dyes like yellow 6, emulsifiers that link to kidney issues and chronic inflammation. Guess what? American cheese is banned dozens upon dozens of other countries. It shows that 90% of cheeses are fake GMO products that's actually made by the same people that bring you medicine like Pfizer. You know, when that cheese is not in block form and it's already, grated for you to make it easy and you're buying it in that anti-caking agent that's on that cheese to help it not cake together is actually carcinogenic. So when we make cheese, we heat our milk up and we go through that whole process. You're using either buttermilk or using something to cut the whey, the curds in the whey, and you're actually making good quality cheese. Now I'll be honest with you, if I shredded that cheese up and put it in a bag, it would cake back together and almost form back. So how do they make it not cake together? How do they make it do that? Because they're using different preservatives and agents. Again, allowed by FDA and other providers that give us food. Now that same cheese, if cheese is golden and orange, why is it golden and orange? Well, if it's naturally forming and changing colors and molding and going through its normal preservatives like a lot of places do in Europe, that's okay. But you know what we do with ours? We put food coloring in it and food agents in it. The same things that RFK is trying to get rid of is actually carcinogenic that's actually put into your cheese. Banned by dozens of countries. They won't allow American cheese into their countries. Now let's go to the same process of the raw material in that. Milk. I've told you before, I milk cows every morning. 2 to 3 every morning. A Jersey and a Holstein, sometimes 2 Jerseys and a Holstein. Because I want the butter, I want the cheese, but also I want the raw dairy milk. A lot of times people call themselves lactose intolerant or they can't handle milk because their body can't. It's not the fact that they can't handle the milk, it's the fact they can't handle the preservatives and the things they've done to the milk. It's kind of like the flour situation with gluten. A lot of people are not gluten intolerant. They're actually just the seed and the bleaching agent and all the preservatives put in the bread has made it where people cannot contain it and actually eat it anymore. See, a lot of the things with our food system and the allergies that we are providing, a lot of the allergies that we're getting when it comes to food and the problems we're getting is because of the things that we're doing to the food. So number 3, we talked about cheese and milk. Milk, I milked this cow this morning and I got 2.5 gallons. That 2.5 gallons, if I don't use it for butter, if I don't use it for Cool Whip, I don't use it to whip it and make it cream for a cake, if I don't use it to drink, if I don't use it to make cheese, that milk will not last more than about 5 to 7 days. It may last, it doesn't sour like you hear in a store, but it just doesn't taste as good. It's chalky. It's kind of clabbering a little bit to a point where it's not stinky and sour like milk at Walmart, but it's just not good quality. 5 to 7 days, that's it. Now, the milk that you're getting from the store, no matter if it's called organic or non-GMO or pasture-raised, it's usually anywhere from 2.5 to 5.5 weeks since it was milked from that cow. Now you tell me how they make it last that long. I imagine it's not the best when they homogenize the milk and pasteurize the milk. And I know people get all up in arms about pasteurization. The whole point of pasteurization was because they were feeding their cows trash food and giving them in unsafe environments when they were milking. So they started pasteurizing. So basically what they're doing is they're taking those quote unquote bad things out of milk when they pasteurize. They heat the milk up to a point. Well, they're also hurting the good bacteria that's good for our body. If you find good quality milk, if you're getting it from a farm, it depends on what they're feeding their animal, also how their animal is grazing, and if they have what they call happy cows. Now, what I mean by happy cows is, are they grazing on true green grass? Are they getting this cheap corn grain that we just talked about is bad for us? How is the quality of the milk? So for instance, if I want the best quality milk, I'm feeding my cow the best quality grains. We do a non-GMO, no corn, no soy mix that my cows eat when they're milking every day. They're also on fresh, grass each and every day. They're also eating hay that does not have any kind of chemicals in it every day. You know how hard it is to find good quality milk? It's kind of like the corn. It's hard, but you can find it. If you search for it, you can find it. Do not buy milk from the store. Do not buy milk from just some random guy off the street either. Make sure you're getting good quality milk. But that also goes for cheese, the products of milk. If you're getting the trash milk, then guess what? That trash milk also made the trash dairy products. So quit getting these things from the store. Number 4, this is a big one, chicken. Now Colby, I mean, where else would you get chicken? Well, first of all, if you have any kind of little yard or any kind of little area, you can grow your own chicken. And you can grow for eggs and all that, but if you can grow a Cornish cross, a non-GMO Cornish cross, or a Freedom Ranger chicken, which is a broiler, red broiler, you can buy those and grow those in your backyard on good quality grains, good quality food. And I have a video showing you how to butcher. It's very easy to process your own food. Sometimes if we don't know where our food comes from, we don't enjoy and understand the importance of it. You know, we're so used to just going to the store and buying these things. And what we don't realize is they're unhealthy because of the preserving they're using, but also we don't understand the work that went into the lettuce or into the vegetable or into the meat. We don't realize that. And sometimes we need to get back to the real part of life to understand what it means to hunter-gather, to what it means to process our own food. It's a big deal. Listen to this. This is why you don't buy chicken from the store. Chicken, chlorine washed, raised in filth, rinsed in chemicals, served to you for dinner. This was actually shared by someone on X. It says, washed in chlorine kills bacteria from factory farming. The contamination, if you ever go by a chicken farm and smell it, or you ever go to a chicken farm, they're not on any ounce of grass. They're in these nasty environments. And they're so nasty that they have to specially get the fertilization out and all that bedding out after they get done with chickens. It is disgusting. So they go from that to these little cages to places of the 4 biggest meat providers in America, basically, that control your meat. And not only are they broken down and processed, they're dipped in chlorine, so hopefully they're healthy for you to eat. So you're not getting bacteria and fungus from what they're living in. But instead, you're getting chemical-laced chicken. Our chicken will not be sold to places all across the globe because of the way that we process our chicken. Now that same chicken is eating the cheapest quality grains, and you've taken a chicken that used to take 12 months to grow. Now it takes 6 months to grow. Now it takes 12 weeks to grow. Now it takes 8 weeks to grow. Now it's down to almost 45 days of growing to get a little bitty chick to now full-size 6 to 8 pound monster chicken. You think that modification is actually good? Now you still can buy chicken, and you can get chicks, and you can grow your own, and you can produce. Chicken is one of those things that we realized, actually, it was like a poor man's food for years and years and years. And then it became like a delicacy. Well, now in the fact that beef has gotten so expensive, and red meat has gotten so expensive, and people can't fish as much as they used to, or can't harvest their own animals as much as they used to, chicken has become very popular again. So they got to find a way to grow it real quick, real fast, using modification. Again, what are they doing? They're giving this bird just upwards of major mutations in their cell DNA. So when they tell you that it's non-raised on antibiotic feed, that it has good quality grains, they may not be lying to you. It may be at the level of the chicken provider, of the egg, of the mutation before the chicken even hatched. Now, that doesn't mean that everybody can raise their food, I understand. But there are places like, I think Primal Pastures is one, Joel Salatin's Polyface Farms is one. There's a lot of online places that you can purchase chicken from that is actually raised chicken on ground and actually good quality birds. You should not be buying chicken from the store. When it says organically wholly raised, and if you know the person, great. But for the most part, a lot of your chicken that you're getting from the store has not been organically or holistically raised. It may have had a little part of it. Like if I'm not mistaken, you can classify something as grass-fed or organic or raised in America or organically grown if it had like a few days or weeks of its life on grass. Like if a percentage of its life, like 10%, 15% has been on grass, they can call it grass-fed. If 4% or 10% of its life, if it was 10% or 15% of its life was on organic grains and non-GMO, they can classify as that because, guess what? Our government allows that. So, number 4, do not buy chicken from the store. And number 5 is pork. Now, pork in America is pretty much raised and owned. And don't get me wrong, there are some farms that raise pork, but who are they raising it for? Most of the time, it's for a Chinese maker. The Chinese own the biggest pork provider in America. They own the majority of stock of the pigs that's on the farms now. Now, what's so funny is the pigs that we raise here, the pork that we raise here, do you realize that that same Chinese company, the same businesses that own that, will not sell it to their own Chinese counterparts and sell it to their own country in China? Why? Because it has something called rhabdopamine in it. Rhabdopamine is a drug that they give to pigs to make them grow quicker, to make them grow leaner, to make them actually produce quicker. That same drug is banned in most every other country. They cannot actually put that in other countries' pork. But we allow it here, and we call it healthy. We call that hog healthy. Listen to this. It says, they feed these pigs rapidly to increase the muscle growth. They want to do as lean as cheap as possible, so therefore they are put and drugged to the limit. It says linked to tremors, anxiety, and heart problems in humans. It is banned in just about every country other than America. And guess what? Because of certain laws and loopholes, it doesn't have to be listed on your ingredient list. So if you're buying pork, for instance, I'm literally picking up someone's pork today from my local butcher. I'm actually processing my own pork today. So in the video with Life of Colby Mack the next few days, you're going to see me processing my own pork. I have a video on this channel about how I broke down my own pork into what they call primals, into pork chops, bacon. You can literally do it on your kitchen table. Literally, I did do mine the first time I did it, the first time I filmed it. My wife was not too happy, but I proved the point that you can literally do it on your kitchen table. Why do I tell you this? It is so easy to raise your own pork. It is also so easy to find someone who is raising pork, and they will take it to the butcher for you. And you can get good quality, especially if you talk to them before they even start growing and say, hey, look, this is what I want to feed my hog. Please, will you do this for me? I mean, I literally do that. We grow pork all the time, not only for us, but for other people. And we're growing it with a non-GMO, non-soy-based, non-corn-based feed that is based on nutrients that the pig needs. Now, that same hog that if they're growing it at Smithfield or they're growing it for farmers, they can grow that hog within 4 to 6 months. That guy is monstrous. It takes me 12 to 14 months to grow a hog to size, and it doesn't have a lot of fat on it. You know why? Because they're eating quality and they're actually grazing in the forest. So I'm not buying pork from the store because of what is in the meat. And because of the loopholes, they don't have to tell you. If I'm honest here, the 5 things I just told you, if you went and got a syringe of all the things that's in your milk, that's in your bread, that's in your cheese, that's in your pork, that's in your chicken, and then you take it and you then go bathe yourself in chlorine, you're a walking time bomb for being sick, if not to kill you or cause some kind of major cancer. But we're allowing it in our food. Now, I'm going to give you a bonus here because it's like dessert. It's kind of like apples. Let me tell you about apples in America. Now, I said 5 things, but I'm going to give you a little bonus here because, you know, everybody likes a good apple pie. So let's finish up with a good dessert here. It says American apples. They have diphenylamine on the apples. It allows them to look perfect for months. Coated in DPA to prevent browning and storage. Breaks down into cancer-linked compounds. This is banned in 20 plus countries. That's how they consider it fresh. Now, I'm going to tell you the organic version. I love apples. I actually love apples and peanut butter, apples and cottage cheese. So I look for the organic apples that don't have any shine, any glimmer. If I can find them on people's trees or they'll sell me some from the farm, I buy it. Like U-Pick farms that don't spray. And that's hard to do. Ask my wife. We try to find these U-Pick farms, and to be honest with you, out of the 30 or 40 that we call, maybe 1 doesn't use chemicals. All the rest does. But you know, for instance, the new push for what they call Apeel, A-P-E-E-L. It's a chemical that they spray on apples to make them last longer. Now, that same thing had that chemical in it. But because of loopholes by Mr. Gates, he found ways to say, it's not a preservative, it's just a coating. And so he was able to get around the loophole of it, so now it can be considered an organic classification. And the sad thing is, it still has the same thing on it, the same chemical that's banned. It's just by a different name. And they can classify it a different way because FDA and USDA has been actually compromised. What do I mean by that? If we realized all the things that are on our food, if you can buy something from the grocery or the store and it has more ingredients than just a few, there's a problem. If you can't actually understand what those ingredients are, that's a problem. So here's what we've decided here on our farm, in our house, in our home. If we can grow it, we're going to grow it. If we can't grow it, we're going to find it and eat the best quality version of it. If we can't find the best quality version of it, we don't eat it. I know that's hard, but I would much rather have my family eat good, holistically quality foods than eat things that we think is healthy, like the corn, like the milk, like the apples, like the pork and like the chicken, like the cheese. We think it's all good, but to be honest with you, what we're realizing is these things we should not be buying because the chemicals, preservatives, and all the things that are allowed to be on our food, because we choose to not grow our own food, we choose to buy from the grocery, all the preservatives. They said the average American doesn't realize if you go to your local grocery or your local Walmart that 65 to 85% of your food has got these kind of preservatives on it. Only about 20 to 30% of an average grocery is actually good quality food. The rest is garbage. Know what you're eating. Do not stockpile these foods. Do not stockpile other foods like them. Find foods that you can actually know what the ingredients are or that you can grow yourself. If you don't know what's in that food, don't buy it. If you can't make it yourself, may not eat it. If you can't find the holistic version of it, do not give it to your children. Remember what the USDA or FDA approved is? Remember, a lot of them have been compromised. Guys, let me know your thoughts on today's video. Our goal is to make you prepare and be sustainable, but in the correct way. Thank you for watching. God bless.